and you're a certified nursing assistant?
So yes, I'm
Is
a
that
nurse.
correct?
Yes.
Is that what CNA stands for?
Yes, certified
what?
nursing assistant.
Nursing
Yes,
assistant.
sir.
Do you have children of your own?
Yes, I have one daughter. She's 4 years old, so I'm kind of used to knowing the cautious of kids.
Okay. Tell us, I guess, what happened or what you saw.
So I work night shift, so usually during the daytime I'm pretty much asleep. So this morning I was sleeping and I heard a mother's cry. Like I heard a mother screaming like for help, pleading for help. She was kind of knocking on doors, asking for help, and I just jumped up out my sleep and I'm like, I know how it sounds when a mother is crying out for help. So I got up, I went downstairs to see what was going on. Once I seen everyone down there and seen what's going on, because you can't quite see from the top of the stairs, and that's the first thing I did was look at the top of the stairs to try to see, can I see? I didn't see anything, so I just went on ahead and went down, and then I seen, a child, and I seen people surrounded the child, and my first instinct was CPR on the child. I don't know, the situation. I didn't know what was going on with the child. I just seen the child basically seem like it was like this. So my first thought is start compressions, give the child air, whatever you can to try to save this child. Because at the end of the day, I'm a mom, and I understand how it feels for a mother to just cry out for help from anyone, to just whatever you can do for a child. So that was my first instinct. I seen people standing around me already on the phone with, EMS and stuff. So, okay, your focus is this baby. Do what you know. Do what you was taught. All the trainings that you went through, all these different courses that you took for this, you know exactly what to do. So I started doing what I knew how to do and checking for pulse, making sure, okay, it's something for the baby. And once I, noticed, I didn't stop until the EMS came. I didn't stop.
Now, this was over by the lake or out here on the sidewalk?
So it was out here on the sidewalk in front of the building.
How did the child get from the lake to the sidewalk in front of the building there?
So I'm not sure. I know once I came outside, that's where the child was. I didn't see anything that happened prior to that or anything. I just heard the screaming and the scream for help from the mom. And then that's when I just woke up and like, okay, it's something. She's knocking on doors. It's something. I could just jumped up and ran downstairs to see what was going on. And I guess by the time I made it, the child was in the front. And I just did what I knew how to do for the child.
Were you able to revive the child or bring him back to life?
So while I was doing what I needed to do for the child, I got as much water as I can out of the child. The child got a little breath. Once I started getting as much water as I can, once I noticed that, I'm like, okay, keep doing what you're doing. What you're doing is working. What you're doing is going to save this child. So I didn't stop. Just kept doing it until EMS got there. And as they got there, in a timely manner, probably like 10 minutes. But to me, it felt like a while. But in reality, it wasn't a while. So I just did everything I could do until the EMS got there to get the child.
So when you say you performed CPR until the water came out, are we talking chest compressions?
Yes, chest compressions.
Mouth to mouth?
Mouth to mouth, yes.
Okay, that's
chest compressions and mouth to mouth.
So when how many minutes were you doing chest compressions before water came out of the child?
I would say probably like just doing the chest compressions, doing them like 9 to 10 times in a few seconds, then breathing in the child's mouth. The water was coming out every time, like, so I knew, okay, it's a lot of water in this child. And your job right now is to just get as much as you can out until help is on the way.
And do you know how long the child was in the lake?
I don't. I was asleep, so I work night shift, so usually during the daytime I'm asleep. So I don't know nothing, and it's usually pretty quiet around here, so I didn't hear anything. The only thing I heard was a mother screaming, crying for help. So that instantly woke me up, and I'm like, okay, it's something going on. And I just jumped up, and thank God I jumped up.
When you said that after the first few compressions, water started coming out, and that kept happening with all your chest compressions. But how many minutes, if you had to guess, into the CPR did it take for the child to start breathing again?
I would say probably like 3 minutes. Probably like 3 minutes. 3 minutes, because at first I was just like, I don't know, like, as in hopes of just seeing how the child was. I just didn't know. And then honestly, I didn't know how long he had been in there. I didn't know any of that. I just know that I seen the child and how the child was looking, and he was looking pretty pale, like pretty. So I'm just like, whatever you can do to try to see, if anything, just try. Because everyone was standing around kind of in the squad and screaming and like, somebody got to be calm. Somebody got to really think about what you're doing here.
When you came along, nobody else had started CPR
So,
until you got there?
Yes. People that's neighbors around us had started, but they wasn't doing it the correct way, and they was just pressing on the chest. I'm like, hey, you have to, although you are pressing on the chest, you have to give mouth to mouth. You have to breathe some life into the child. Like, so that's when they was like, okay, let her do it. She know what she's doing. But before that, they was trying, but as far as doing it the accurate way, everyone was just so shooken up that no one took the time to really think.
And as a CNA, were you doing CPR specifically for children, or is
Yes.
it the same for children and adults?
I was doing it for children.
So it's a different process. and
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your reaction to this whole situation?
My reaction to this whole situation, first and foremost, is this. We go through all of these trainings. We learn all of these things to be certified so that we'll know, hey, this is what you do for an adult. This is what you do for a child. And, you know, sometimes we second guess ourselves like, hey, maybe I won't use this, or maybe one day I probably won't have to do it to this extent. And for me, I just never, like, I know it's possible and it can happen, but as far as doing CPR on a child, this is like something that I never experienced before. So this would be my first time doing CPR on a child. So for me, that was something big. And all I could think about in my experience is literally like, a child deserves everlasting life. Things happen. This is a baby. Kids, they know what we teach them. They that's all they know is the things that we teach them. And sometimes, you know, they try things and they think they're more advanced than they is. Just, God, help me be able to be a blessing to this mom, to help her with her child in this moment. Because I know how I feel as a mother. I watched this mother cry out the whole time that I was doing CPR on this child, just begging, saying, ma'am, please, whatever you can do, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And that was enough motivation for me to keep going, for the simple fact that I'm a mother myself, and I know how it feels when it's your child.
Pretty sad situation,
Yes.
though. Can you sum up your feelings as a parent seeing another child like that?
As a parent, I literally, like, I just thank God. And as a parent, we have to be more cautious, and we have to be more eyes open and hands on. And as much as we think that our kids sometimes know better, know certain things, at the end of the day, they're still kids. Sometimes we have to put aside the things that we think that we can do in this moment and that moment, and just hold out sometimes. Because one thing about it, a kid is a kid at the end of the day. And their mind is wondrous. Kids are adventurous. They get into things that, you know, hey, I want to see what this is. I want to know what this is. I never did this before. Let me see. And sometimes it's hard for us parents to catch everything, but we got to keep all eyes at all times on them, because these are babies. They are precious. They are so precious. We got to keep our eyes on them. One split second, they can do something that can cause their whole life.
Have you thought about the fact that, you know, and right now the baby is at St. Mary's Medical Center. Have you reflected on the fact that it's very possible that your actions might have given this baby a chance when the baby
Yes, so the whole time I was giving compressions, I was praying. I was literally praying the whole time. I was like, God, whatever you do, give this baby life. This baby deserves everlasting life, God, whatever you do. I know that you're capable. I know that you're able. I know, you know, sometimes things happen, God, but this can't be like, I just had so much faith and was literally praying. Although everyone around me was kind of shooken up and screaming and this and that, I'm like, okay, you got to be the calm one. You got to be the brain right now. Pray, pray, pray. Do what you know to do. Pray for this child. Keep praying for this child. And that's all I did.
Was the child crying then when the paramedics arrived?
He wasn't crying. He wasn't.
Were his eyes open?
His eyes wasn't open. I would open his eyes just to check his pupils
But
and
you
see.
think he was breathing, though?
Yes, at
when
least
they
a little.
arrived? And he wasn't breathing when you first started?
No, he
So
wasn't.
you were able to do that?
Did he,
Yes.
For his first breath, did he cough to start off the breath?
Yes, he coughed, and then water came up a little bit, and that's when I was like, okay. Then I heard the EMS trucks, and I'm like, thank you, God, they're here.
And to know that he was breathing, did you like get down and hear him breathe, or how did that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I made sure I got down, I opened up his mouth a little bit more to hear him breathe. I put my, just to see, and I'm like, okay, yes, he's stable. He's at least stable enough for them to get him on there and do whatever else that they need to do.
Did you talk to the mom after this?
I didn't talk to her after this because she, was in distraught, and I understand, I understand as a mom. I haven't seen her yet since the situation happened. I've seen the dad and the grandmother, but I haven't seen the mom yet.
Do you have any pictures of this little boy?
No, so I didn't know his name. I
Okay.
didn't know him at all completely. I didn't even know the mom. I'm kind of freshly new out here too, so I didn't know anybody. I'm just thinking about if I could save a life, save a life. Because if it was me, and if it was my child, and I'm crying out for help, anybody. That's why I do good deeds. I do God's work, because at the end of the day, you never know who you will need. You never know. That's exactly why I did what I did.